Filled to capacity, it was an honor to be inside.
To remember John and Kevin and make certain they did not die in vain.
But outside, a gathering in honor. Most of these people didn't even know Sergeant Platt or Officer McCarthy personally.
These people are out here to protect us. Something like this happens, this is the least we can do is support them.
The whole community's down. The whole community is. Such a sad situation.
It seems to hit you right here.
It does. It really does. I think it's hitting a lot of people, or they wouldn't be here.
And make no mistake about it, these were ideal officers.
In the crowd, 50 students from Jessica McCarthy's 4th grade class.
Could be any one of their parents.
As the procession got underway, thousands lined the route.
A somber scene all along the Beltway. On all of the bridges crossing the Beltway, this is what you see. Hundreds standing in silent tribute.
It's a shame.
Hundreds of police cars pass under.
People don't know what drinking and driving does.
On the Beltway median sits Frank Wash.
I could not stop, you know, I really could.
This procession is to him a sobering vision.
With a DWI some years ago, and I thank God that I didn't cause anything like this with my incident, so it's a reminder to me that I didn't hurt no one when I was involved with mine. And
there is just something about these deaths which touch the hearts of thousands, so they pay their respects to the families.
I think that they appreciate all the people out here, and I think that they appreciate the outpouring of all the people that have come out for somebody that they didn't even know.
My name is Glenn Page. I'm a 13-game plan ticket holder. Today is opening day. Yes, I'm driving.
You're driving.
I'm driving. I'm driving. It feels good. I'm feeling good. It's a good day. It's Arbor Day. It's opening day.
Yesterday, Glenn Page would have taken light rail, but today he had to work. Thus, his mind is on parking.
Challenge, yes. We're talking about a challenge to find a spot.
As we enter the city, the search begins. Any worries?
Yeah, I think we'll find a spot. I've got a secret weapon. I know it exists.
It does.
I know it exists,
yeah.
but I haven't found it yet. I'm hoping to find it today.
Glenn, have you watched any TV?
The Maryland Stadium Authority is recommending you leave your car at home.
Have you heard that there's a parking problem down at the stadium this year?
The Orioles lost 2,600 parking spaces.
Yeah, well, as I understand it, it's really just 2,000 parking spaces.
2,500.
Okay, 2,500.
They say that fans are the victims.
And then he hears this.
The driving is easy. It's the parking that becomes the problem. A lot of those are not full signs, unfortunately.
You know, I've got a secret weapon, Mike.
Oh, you have a secret weapon?
Oh, yes.
You have a secret weapon?
I have a secret weapon.
Sort of a plan B?
A plan B. Yes, I do.
The secret weapon, it's 10 feet long and made of blue plastic.
We've got plan B.
We have a plan B. American League, here I come.
Off he goes. See that speck in between the two boats? That's Glenn.
I'm in the middle of the Inner Harbor, headed to Camden Yards for opening day, and I'll be there in I'd say about 10 minutes. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. This plan B worked beautifully. Parking, you can get around it. The best way to come to the ballpark is by boat. Go O's.
It's all right here, in black and white.
black, being of the color black, producing or reflecting comparatively
little light and having no predominant hue.
White, the achromatic color
of maximum lightness, the color of objects
that reflect nearly all light of all visible wavelengths.
Okay, but what makes white white?
TiO2.
Okay.
TiO2 is titanium dioxide, and it's everywhere. On the street, covering your car, even in your mouth.
Titanium dioxide, it's a fine white pigmentary powder.
And guess what? Baltimore is a world capital of TiO2. We're the capital of white.
We have a very large facility here that makes a lot of the white stuff, so the capital white is certainly an appropriate title for us.
A company called Millennium Inorganic Chemicals has dropped $20 million, which, by the way, contain their product, to build a one-of-a-kind lab.
We want to make better white. We want to make cheaper white. We want to make new and different kinds of white.
To build better white, you need
black. Well, believe it or not, to get pure white, you start with black.
We start with a black beach sand.
And in a process too complicated to go into here, voila, pure white.
That's white.
Mike Shuh.
That's it.
WJZ Eyewitness News. Who thought an airplane landing could make people feel so good?
We're back.
At the park at the end of the runway, we find Carl Bett taking pictures and the Heinets listening for another plane.
Just seeing them bring the planes in was a good feeling.
We got up this morning and heard the airplanes, and that was a wonderful sound.
Security is everywhere you look. Police boats patrol the perimeter. Military choppers are in the sky. National Guardsmen move by. Armed guardsmen, all in place to protect the
airport.
A place Frank Luntz knows well. He flies a couple of times a week.
In the last 3 weeks, I've taken 3 trips out of BWI that would have come out of here and 2 trips out of Dulles that would have come out of here. So I'm glad to be back.
But his home airport is empty. There's simply not enough flights to fill the halls.
Today, 110 flights are going to go out of this airport. Normally, there'd be 750. In fact, on a normal day, you wouldn't be able to even see me right now. There'd be so many people standing in front of me in this main concourse.
Normally, because I'm always using this roller board, I'm knocking over people at this point. Now I could throw a baseball and not hit anybody. Look at this place. I mean, it's empty. It's a ghost town. And listen to the sounds of people. Everyone is quieter as they walk through. But you just got to get back on the horse. You got to get back on the plane. It's the right thing for the economy. It's the right thing to say to the people who caused all the damage.
Eyewitness News is live in Sky Chopper 13. Mike Shuh is flying high and here to tell us that the state is preparing a massive spraying campaign. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Kai. Indeed they are. We are over Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Let me show you why. Below are helicopters you may soon see over your house spraying insecticide, all part of an effort to wipe out this, the gypsy moth caterpillar.
And then there's something called the life hammer, which even has a razor blade in the handle so you can slice right through a seatbelt. As far as the hammer goes, it's pretty self-explanatory.
This is the toilet in Verna Patty's basement. You don't want to know what that stuff is.
Hi, Sally. Here is a demonstration of why these restrictions are needed. I am standing at water's edge, and during a normal year, the water's edge would be where the camera is located taking these pictures. Well, Sally, the drivers say that it is absolutely brutal out there. I have a demonstration for you. Photographer Joel Eagle will hold the other side of this. The water out there is 45 degrees. The currents are constantly shifting out there. The wreck is shifting and the sands are shifting. And beyond all that, that wreck is 35 feet under the surface. The one time of year when people get to step out and be something that they're not normally. So you got any ideas what I am today?
Oh, gee, that's a stretch, Mike.
Very cute.
You're looking at the air tank of the first diver. He's swimming out 50 feet. He's under 8 inches of ice. What he's going to do is swim out to the length of his line and just sit there. It's terrible. Right now, the average price for a gallon of gasoline in Maryland is $1.66, and of course, 9/10. But just a month ago, that same gallon of gasoline would have only cost you $1.53 a gallon, and of course, 9/10. But let us travel back a year in time. Are you ready? That same gallon of gasoline would have only cost you $1.09 a gallon, and of course, 9/10. But one can't help but wonder if things keep up the way they are, if this far behind.
The key is...
He was killed instantly. His friends found his body. But you may be asking how they could not hear the approach of the oncoming train.
Listen to what it sounds like when one of these high-speed Amtrak trains approach. You can hardly hear them. But how much warning would you have if it sounded like this?
This is what Richard Helmick heard. Nothing. All his life, he's been deaf. Even though he wore 2 hearing aids, they didn't help much. And the rest of his group, they were deaf too.
His friends are like that too.
If someone were up under the Key Bridge, who'd ever know? That's where these choppers come in.
Pilot Norm Moulter has Trooper 1 about 100 feet off the water because when they do these Homeland Security checks, they need to be able to see things that other people on the ground wouldn't be able to. Hi, Sally. In this and in any other helicopter, if any of these emergency warning lights on the panel turn on, the pilot needs to land the chopper as soon as possible.
At midnight, a warning light or a tail radar chip light.
Now, there is nothing wrong with Foxtrots. These sliver of metal come with normal operations, but the transmissions in helicopters are so unbelievably important, and here is why. In a helicopter, once you're in the air, you can have the engine actually stop, and the blades will windmill, and the pilot can land the plane. But if the transmission were to break, it's possible the blades would stop, and the helicopter then would crash. Back to you, Sally.
Thank you, Mike.
Amtrak passengers have found it hard to get good information. They say that their website is nearly indecipherable, and when you get on their automated phone system, the wait is 20 minutes to a half hour.
What time's your flights today?
Hey, do we want to do that again or not? The only thing I'm thinking is once you get to the end of the train, and then it follows to me, and then the train goes over my shoulder, and then we're not fighting that thing. Because that was so fucking loud. Because I think the second one was all right, but you know, follow the ender. Let's do some sideways stuff to get it going that way. I don't know. I'm just talking. If you think we're gonna blow it, let's not. Pardon me? Well, let's get some just going sideways. Some, you know, some train. Well, I'm saying use the final car. Use the last engine, the pusher engine. Hey, here it is. Oh, hey. Amtrak has made many improvements to its security, but they say that for a variety of reasons, it will never be the same as what you see in our nation's airports.
Presidents,
almost all of us have them.
Sharon, listen, I want to go. I'm so sorry.
And there are over 52 million married American couples.
Would you like dictators?
Hey, no one really knows what it's like.
I'm going away.
At the Center for Marital Studies in Denver, a researcher says that channel surfing is one of the 2 big marital issues for the 90s.
How do you know that? I believe it.
This right here could help. It's an infrared TV remote control jammer. It's called Stop It. Go-go bars, strip joints? Must be talking about the block, right? I think you'd be surprised at the number of such places in a neighborhood near you. Business leaders here are so angry that they've pledged to vote with their wallets and dump HP products. We can show you what they're doing to clean up this mess. Well, what we can't bring you is the smell. The odor of gasoline coming out of this drainage pipe is incredible. You're looking at the air tank of the first diver. He's swimming out 50 feet. He's under 8 inches of ice. What he's going to do is swim out to the length of his line and just sit there. Some kids from Towson State have even called, wanting to know if they can camp out overnight. The training manual for Baltimore County Police says that in demonstrations like this, a training weapon should be used, not the officer's real gun. Let's put Priceline to the test. In my household, we're using a lot of disposable diapers. This is the brand we use right here, and the price is $11.99 in the store.
Right now in Chopper 13, we're flying right on the edge of one of these invisible lines. On this side of the helicopter, we don't have to be talking to anyone to be flying. But if we were to fly just a few feet this way, well then we would have to be in contact with a number of different federal agencies. And then there's something called the life hammer, which even has a razor blade in the handle so you can slice right through a seatbelt. As far as the hammer goes, it's pretty self-explanatory. Right now, the average price for a gallon of gasoline in Maryland.
Hurry up, hurry up! 3, 2, 1. Police have released this picture of Joyner. They say that after one of his home invasions, he actually called the victim back days later, posing as someone from her bank, trying to get the PIN number for her debit card. Hey man, let's use this. Let's use this. Let's use this.
Rolling.
I know. 3, 2, 1. Police have released this picture of Joyner. They say that after one of the home invasions, he actually called the victim back, posing as a bank officer, trying to get her PIN number for her debit card.
That one I probably should have not. I kept.
We now know that this thick smoke was caused by a tanker of the chemical tripropylene, which split open and caught on fire, starting 5 boxcars of paper ablaze. Here's what CSX says happened. This is a model train at the B&O Museum. Well into the tunnel, for some reason, the train stopped. The emergency braking system had kicked in. The engineers got out of the lead locomotive to walk back to find out what was wrong, but the thick smoke forced them out. Once uncoupled, the engineers just drove the 3 locomotives out of the tunnel, leaving the 60-car train behind. Inside, 600 gallons of hydrochloric acid is leaking every hour. Right now, there are 55 cars left inside this tunnel. If you could see into it, this is what you would see. There is a boxcar and 4 tankers all in a row. These are the ones that they're concerned about. This boxcar is filled with pulpboard. This is a hazardous chemical, and these 2 are hydrochloric acid. All 3 of these tankers are derailed, and this one with hydrochloric is leaking. All afternoon, the idea was to pump the acid out of the tanker.
We've run into a glitch in that the tanks are too hot to do an offload.
This boxcar at the end of the line carrying paper was pulled out, but others right next to the acid are said to be so hot they glow. So now water is being used to cool the tanker and fight the fire. Teams of specially equipped firefighters are being shuttled a quarter mile down the tunnel to the rail cars. This is the 5-inch hose which is providing water down into the tunnel. This goes 12 feet down and about 6 feet over. Then it links up with the tunnel. There are firemen down below, and they tell me that it is near hellish conditions. It's dark, it's hot, and there's plenty of steam. If you put your hand over this exhaust air, it feels like an oven.
You're dealing with a situation where we're going through an acid spill to get to the point where we need to get to.
Just when will we see a light at the end of this tunnel?
Our highest hopes of this day was to get to the source of the fire and remove the hazardous materials. So that still remains our hope for today, and how quickly we're able to do that, it will be determined by what we find every time we get a few more cars up that smoky tunnel.